Some people lie to make more money. Some lie to get away with it. And Officer Darren Ricks, he lies like he drinks collagen, a dose a day to maintain his credibility. In Dalton, Louisiana, the population is 6,012 if you count 6 cows, 1 astigmatic judge, and a police officer who specializes in treating mental illness. So lying is not a crime. It's a medal sport. But let's rewind. Because before the courthouse gasped, before the video played, before the badge hit the floor like a dropped mic, there was a woman. A black woman, a school teacher, Tamara Lewis. Teaches 10th grade history, can quote Baldwin before breakfast. Also, apparently, according to Officer Ricks, a public menace who attacked him without provocation while holding, wait for it, a reusable water bottle and a notebook. That's right. In Dalton, a black woman holding hydration and literacy materials is basically an active shooter, but back to the lie. It happened during a peaceful protest. You know, one of those terrifying acts of civil democracy where people hold signs that say things like, "Stop killing us and we pay taxes too." Tamara was there covering the event for the school newsletter because her journalism students wanted real-world reporting experience. Real world. Oh honey, they got it. What happened next was textbook. Ricks approached. Ricks shoved. Ricks confiscated her phone. Then Ricks did what Ricks does best. He lied. Filed a report saying Tamara struck him first, said he feared for his life, that she was aggressive, uncooperative, and possibly affiliated with Antifa. Spoiler, her only affiliation is the Parent-Teacher Association, and she has a deep personal relationship with Microsoft Excel. And you know what the best part is? The town believed him, because in Dalton a badge outranks a book, a gun outshouts a camera. And black women? Well, let's just say they're easier to frame than hanging a picture in an Airbnb. But here's where the story breaks pattern. This time someone was watching and recording, and what did that person catch on video? Well, it's the kind of footage that makes a courtroom go silent and a defense attorney go feral. But we'll get there. For now, just remember this. In a town where the truth is optional and justice is conditional, one teacher dared to tell the truth, and one cop got caught lying about it. Let's begin. Meet Tamara Lewis. She's 34, teaches American history. Drinks her coffee black, and grades like she's been personally wronged by every dangling modifier. She doesn't raise her voice, because her eyebrow does all the heavy lifting. If sarcasm were a martial art, she'd be a 9th-degree black belt with tenure and office hours. She's trained an entire generation of teenagers to spot propaganda before it finishes its opening sentence. They fact-check memes in real time. They question everything, except their own worth. But last Friday, Tamara got a surprise pop quiz in How to Survive When Critical Thinking is a Felony. Because in Dalton, Louisiana, asking questions is considered a radical act of aggression, like jaywalking with attitude. Now let's talk about Dalton. Population 6,000 and a few extra souls who still think Wi-Fi is a government spy program. Town slogan, faith. Family, football. Unofficial motto? Don't question the badge, unless you want to end up a case study in qualified immunity. Dalton is the kind of town where supporting law enforcement means you hang a flag, bake them a pie, and apologize when they pull you over. If you challenge a cop in court, you'd better show up with receipts, eyewitnesses, body cam footage, notarized Bible verses, and George Washington himself rapping the Constitution. Unfortunately for Tamara, all she had was her word, and a phone that came back from police custody looking like it had been baptized in bleach and factory reset by Satan. Let's rewind to the protest. Dalton had its first ever black-led march in front of City Hall. Peaceful, organized, and deeply offensive to every white person still convinced Rosa Parks could have just taken a lift. Tamara wasn't marching. She was documenting. Standing on the sidewalk with a phone, a press badge, self-made, laminated, looked real from 10 feet. and a quiet conviction that truth still had a chance. Enter Officer Darren Ricks, 42, white, broad-shouldered. A man whose eyebrows haven't moved since 2003. He walks like he owns the concrete and talks like every sentence comes with a closing argument. Darren doesn't shout. He doesn't threaten. He gestures vaguely in your direction, and suddenly you're in cuffs and your grandmother's wondering where she went wrong. He approached Tamara and said she was interfering with law enforcement. She asked, by standing still and filming in the sunlight? That was apparently a felony in Dalton, or worse, a black felony. According to the official police report, Tamara lunged, became aggressive, and attempted to strike Officer Ricks with her left hand while concealing a potential weapon in her right. The weapon? A reusable water bottle from Whole Foods. Glass. Eco-friendly, a known radical statement. She was cuffed. Her phone was taken. Her rights read like a half-remembered bedtime story. By the time she got her phone back, it was cleaner than a church nursery. No photos. No videos, no apps, just a wallpaper of clouds and despair. At the station, the message was clear. He's got the badge, you've got attitude. Guess who the jury's gonna believe? It's important to understand something. Officer Darren Ricks is not sloppy. He's not the kind of cop who yells or pushes people on camera. He's the kind who plants a seed of doubt so neatly that it grows roots in the jury box before the trial even starts. And in Dalton, that's all it takes. An officer says he feared for his life, and suddenly a 5'5" school teacher becomes a violent threat to public order. This is a town where cops get coffee for free, and black women get suspicion by default. It wasn't just that the system didn't believe Tamara, it was never intended to. Dalton's unofficial justice system flows like this. Cop reports crime. The judge nods solemnly. Jury assumes guilt. Defendant prays. And now, Tamara's facing trial for assaulting a police officer with no video, no witness on record, and no platform louder than a whisper. But here's what they didn't count on. Tamara Lewis may be a teacher, but she's not here to educate the court. She's here to expose it. Because while Darren Ricks has a badge, a uniform, and a department that covers for him, Tamara has something far more dangerous. A friend with a backup copy. And the truth is about to get very, very inconvenient. The courtroom smelled like old wood, old rules, and very fresh injustice. Tamara Lewis sat at the defense table, posture straight, lips sealed, and jaw clenched so tight it could have cracked walnuts. She didn't blink much. Didn't move, didn't react. Because in Dalton, Louisiana, the wrong look from a black woman can get reclassified as hostile intent. On the witness stand, Officer Darren Ricks looked like the cover of a brochure titled, "Trust Me, I'm the System," polished. Pressed, his badge gleamed under the lights like it had never cuffed the wrong wrist. His voice. Smooth, steady. The kind of voice that could convince a jury water isn't wet, just suspiciously slippery. I approached Miss Lewis peacefully, he said, to 12 jurors nodding like bobbleheads at a barbecue. She became aggressive, tried to grab my baton. I had no choice but to defend myself. Translation? He tackled a teacher. On camera. Then, I filed paperwork, like it was Tuesday. Across the aisle, the prosecutor nodded along like he was trying to win America's next top enabler. Tamara's lawyer, Malik Johnson, didn't flinch. He'd seen this movie before. Except in Dalton, the bad guy gets a pension and the victim gets probation. He leaned over to Tamara and whispered, "They're buying it." All of it. She didn't answer. Because if she opened her mouth right now, the scream might never stop. This wasn't just a trial. It was a spiritual exorcism, where truth was fighting a demon with a badge and a city council endorsement. Malik stood, adjusted his tie like a man preparing for war with nothing but logic and hope, and asked the obvious question. "Officer Ricks, did any video footage of this incident exist?" Ricks didn't blink. No, sir. To my knowledge, none. Which, fun fact, is technically accurate, because the footage did exist. Until it met the mysterious black hole of police custody, where phones go to forget. Tamara's nails bit into her palms. Her phone had been wiped so clean that even the weather app was gone. Dalton PD didn't just delete her footage. They deleted her entire Tuesday. The judge, white, tired, possibly half alive, called for a recess. Ricks stepped off the stand like he had just given a TED Talk on integrity. The jury didn't see a liar. They saw a decorated officer, a pillar of the community, a man who could say, "I feared for my life," without choking on the irony. Tamara sat frozen. Not from fear, from fury. Because here's the secret they never tell you. Silence is not surrender. It's a strategy. And sometimes, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who hasn't spoken yet. And then, the miracle. Kayla Martinez, Tamara's best friend, part-time librarian, full-time pit bull in hoop earrings, burst into the courtroom like she had just hacked the Pentagon. "I found it," she whispered, eyes wide. "Found what?" Malik asked. She shoved her phone into his hand. Footage from one of Tamara's old students. He recorded it from across the street. "It's all there." Tamara blinked, once, twice. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the defense table like she was trying not to levitate. Because here it was. Proof. Not a witness, not a feeling. Video. Unedited, unfiltered, unmistakable. Officer Darren Ricks, shoving her. Officer Darren Ricks, pinning her down. Officer Darren Ricks, lying. Malik didn't say a word, he just smiled, not the "I'm happy" kind. The "I'm about to ruin a man's career and sleep like a baby" kind. Tamara exhaled, her first full breath in days. Ricks had told a story. But now she had the footage, and the footage wasn't scary, wasn't tired. Didn't care about hierarchy or uniforms or legal theatrics, it just told the truth, loudly. Brutally, frame by frame. Tomorrow that video will play in court. And Darren Ricks? He was about to learn that even in Dalton, sometimes the truth fights back. The courtroom went dark. Not power outage dark, more like, brace yourself, this man's career is about to get curb-stomped by reality dark. Malik pressed play, and boom. There it was, the video. Not a blurry Bigfoot sighting. Not a shaky UFO clip. Crystal clear proof of Officer Darren Ricks doing what he does best, treating the Constitution like a piñata at a barbecue. On screen, Tamara. Standing, peaceful, phone in hand. A real terrorist, clearly. Then, bam! Ricks charges like he just saw a coupon for violence. Shoves her, grabs her, pins her like he's auditioning for a WWE chokehold demo. She never touched him, didn't lunge, didn't throw a punch. Didn't even blink too hard. You could have replaced her with a cardboard cutout of Michelle Obama, and Ricks still would have tackled it. Gasps echoed through the courtroom like a Baptist church during a scandal. The jury? Staring like they just realized Santa isn't real and neither is equal justice. Malik, calm. Collected, practiced, like a lawyer in a Super Bowl commercial. He stood up and dropped the line like a hammer wrapped in legal precedent. "Officer Ricks, were you lying then, or are you lying now?" Silence. You could hear Ricks's ego deflating like an old bounce house at a kid's party, because both can't be true. And only one of them is perjury. Oof. Someone in the back actually whispered, "Damn." Even the judge adjusted her glasses like, did this man really just perjure himself on a Tuesday? Ricks tried to speak. He made a noise somewhere between a cough and a dying microwave. Words failed him, which is poetic, because words are what he used to frame an innocent woman in the first place. And then, plot twist. Another officer stood up, Jeremiah Park, badge on. Conscience activated. "I've worked with Ricks for years," he said. "He's been filing false reports. Especially when the suspect is black. We were told not to talk about it." The room froze. You could feel the DA's sphincter clench from 4 rows back. Jeremiah held up a folder. Not a regular folder, a "this is going to blow up the entire department" folder. Altered reports, suppressed complaints, dozens of cases. And guess whose name is on all of them? Spoiler alert, Ricks. Ricks stood up like he had something to say. What came out? "This is a witch hunt, sir. You are not being burned at the stake. You're being roasted by evidence and your own body cam footage." "Sit down." Malik didn't even flinch. "If this is a witch hunt, you just summoned the wrong coven, buddy." Judge Wilkins raised her gavel. Voice cold enough to chill a lava lamp. "Officer Ricks, you are now under investigation for perjury, misconduct, and falsifying official reports." Click. The sound of handcuffs, sweetest sound since Beyoncé dropped Lemonade. They walked him out, badge gone, swagger evaporated, dignity somewhere under the witness stand. The courtroom? Stone silent. The kind of silence that says, "We almost let an innocent black woman go to jail because a guy with a badge knew how to lie with a straight face." Tamara didn't cheer. Didn't gloat. She just exhaled, like she'd been holding her breath since the moment he tackled her. Malik leaned over. "That," he whispered, "was beautiful." Tamara shook her head. "No, that was necessary." Outside the courtroom, the headlines exploded like 4th of July fireworks at a clearance sale. Video proves officer lied under oath. Local teacher cleared after police cover-up. Dalton PD responds with statement written by a PR intern on Xanax. The department went into full crisis mode. Launched an internal investigation, which is cop speak for "let's bury this faster than student debt forgiveness." Meanwhile, protests erupted. Peaceful, loud, relentless. And Dalton PD showed up in riot gear, ready to keep the peace by beating the peace to death. Tamara didn't stay quiet. She went live, on Instagram, on TikTok. On every platform not owned by a police union. "This wasn't just about me," she said. "This was about every lie they told and every person who couldn't prove it." The comments poured in. Support, outrage, donations. One woman even offered to knit her a "Justice looks good on you" sweater. And then came the kicker. Officer Ricks, now unemployed, uncuffed, and legally sweating, flipped. Offered to testify against the entire system he helped build. Apparently, he found religion in holding cells. They called it one bad apple. "I call it a whole damn orchard, and I brought a chainsaw." So, Tamara Lewis. Acquitted, free to go, legally untangled. Judicially unchained. You'd think the story ends here, like a good courtroom movie. Gavel drops. Justice prevails. Cue inspirational music. Roll credits, except this is America. And in America, winning a case against the police is like beating a casino. They don't clap for you. They call security. Dalton PD did not take the loss well. They didn't apologize. They didn't reflect. They didn't even blink. Nope. They did what any totally not guilty organization would do, issued a press release. Officer Darren Ricks is a decorated public servant. Translation, he owns a plaque and once didn't punch someone. Gold star. We stand behind our department. Translation, even if the building is on fire and the body cam footage is screaming liar in HD. Meanwhile, on the streets, protesters showed up with signs. Dalton PD showed up with riot gear, like it was Black Friday and someone just said, "Flat screens are 90% off." People were shoved. Phones were slapped. One guy got arrested for loud eyebrows. We're still not sure how that works. Basically, Dalton turned the First Amendment into a felony. But Tamara, she didn't flinch. No spa break, no book deal yet. No healing journey Instagram post with a sunset filter. She grabbed her phone, looked into the camera, and hit Go Live, and dragged the entire system like it owed her rent. They lied. They erased my footage. They tried to jail me for filming a protest, and now they're out here pepper-spraying teenagers like it's seasoning. The Internet lost its mind. Twitter crowned her the Teacher of the Year. TikTok made edits with dramatic music and slow zooms. Reddit did what Reddit does, somehow found her kindergarten teacher and verified her GPA. Suddenly, Tamara wasn't just a name. She was a movement, a meme, a mood. A mirror held up to a system that swears it's clean while standing knee-deep in its own cover-ups. The department scrambled, held a press conference with the energy of a substitute teacher trying to explain why the classroom's on fire. We are launching an internal investigation, which is PR code for, we're going to spend 6 months moving furniture and hope you forget. Then came the plot twist, and it was spicy. Officer Darren Ricks flipped. That's right, the same man who strutted into court like law order, MAGA unit, the same guy who said, "She attacked me," while holding a coffee and 0 bruises. Suddenly remembered every dirty little secret in the department. Apparently, getting arrested hit him harder than his conscience ever did. To avoid jail time, he pulled a full-on confessional buffet. Named names, cited dates, pulled out receipts so long they could have doubled as CVS coupons. Turns out Tamara wasn't the first, not even the 10th, just the first who fought back with Wi-Fi and rage. The DA's office choked on their coffee. Dalton PD went from thin blue line to leaking like a faucet with abandonment issues. Internal Affairs was suddenly very concerned. City Hall developed collective amnesia, and the mayor was last seen Googling how to resign without looking guilty. And Tamara, she didn't celebrate. She didn't tweet, "I told you so." Didn't post a thirst trap with the caption, "Unbothered acquitted." She just stared into her phone and said, "This wasn't just about me. This was about every person who got stopped for matching a description. Every phone that came back was wiped. Every protester labeled a threat because they had a Sharpie and a heartbeat, and every report that started with, 'I feared for my life,' and ended with someone else in a body bag." McBandita dropped. Phone still rolling. Justice. Still unpaid. They tried to silence her. Instead, they gave her a Wi-Fi connection and a nation's attention. And now the only thing going viral is the truth. Tamara Lewis walked past the courthouse like it owed her rent and still had the nerve to say God bless. No music, no fist pump. No cheesy slow motion, just sneakers on concrete and a vibe that said, "I've seen things, Karen." The building looked the same, tall, stiff, white, like a gluten-free wedding cake with 0 flavor and way too much power. The columns still stood tall, like they were proud of all the injustice they'd hosted. The statue of the town's founder still had pigeons on his head. Honestly, he deserved it. Tamara didn't look up. She didn't have time for monuments that remembered everything except accountability. She wasn't celebrating. There were no balloons, no inspirational piano music, no awkward hug from the mayor. Because this wasn't a Disney ending. It was a Netflix documentary that got canceled after 1 season, even though things were just getting good. She checked her phone. It buzzed. No likes, no memes. Just a message. No name, no hi, no punctuation. Just, check East Ridge, name Marcus. The same thing happened. 1 text. New name, new victim, same song. Different verse. Tamara didn't flinch. This wasn't a shock. This was Tuesday. She slipped the phone into her jacket like it was a loaded truth grenade and kept walking. Not because she was trying to be dramatic. Not because she had a savior complex. And definitely not because she liked cardio. She walked because if she didn't, nobody else would. The town had already moved on. The news cycle had spun out like a Walmart shopping cart with one janky wheel. Dalton PD released another statement. "We take these allegations seriously," which is American for, "We started a folder labeled accountability and immediately lost it." The mayor tweeted a Bible verse. The church prayed for unity. The local diner offered a Justice Burger for $5.99. No lettuce, extra hypocrisy. Meanwhile, protesters got ticketed for walking aggressively. A black teenager got cited for eye contact with attitude. And a woman was questioned because she smelled like activism. Tamara had no time for this rerun. She'd seen the pilot. She'd starred in the finale. Now she was back for season 2. The system strikes back. She passed a mural of herself on the courthouse wall. Big, bold. Spray painted. Quote underneath, "We rise." Cute. But that version of her had glowing eyes and a cape. The real Tamara? Sweatshirt, cracked phone screen. A bag full of receipts, literal and metaphorical. She looked at the mural, snorted, and muttered, "They really think paint fixes policy." She kept walking. She walked past the Confederate statue, which they haven't removed yet due to permitting issues. Translation, "We like pretending it's about heritage." She walked past the courthouse security guard, who now holds the door like he's seen God, and she was carrying a flash drive. She walked past people who smiled at her like they supported her, but voted against body cams because it made cops uncomfortable. And the whole time, her phone kept buzzing. Names, stories. Coordinates, more Marcuses, more Tamaras. More people have been arrested for existing crimes that were inconvenient. She didn't stop, because no one's handing out justice. You gotta find it like a lost remote in a messy house. Except the house is on fire, and the remote filed a report against you. And here's the worst part, Dalton isn't special. It's not the exception, it's the blueprint. The only reason Tamara made it out was because someone hit record. Someone pressed send. Someone said, "No, you don't get to bury this one too." But for every Tamara, there are 1,000 more still waiting. And that's why she keeps walking. Not because it's noble, not because it's fun, but because stopping would mean agreeing that this is normal. And she refuses to make peace with broken systems that only work for the people who built them. They tried to silence her. Instead, they gave her a microphone, and now every step she takes echoes louder than their lies. Tamara is no miracle worker. All she has is a phone, a straight spine, and a society that prefers to cover its ears to turn on the camera. If this story makes you angry, that's good. If it makes you silent, then you understand why she had to speak up. Comment, because silence is complicity. Share, because the truth doesn't go viral. And subscribe, because this story won't be the last. Somewhere, another lie is being written. The question is, this time, will anyone be recording?